I decided to make a video. I'm down here in the lower level where our library is. I've shown you our library in the well, it's kind of dark down here, but you see books. You know, there's books. It's kind of dark down here right now. So yeah, I'm down in the lower level. And I was going to make a video because today I was watching YouTube and somebody mentioned a tag called the big book tag. And so today I was down here looking at my books and what are the big books. And of course they have to be over 1,000 pages. And I just came down here a little bit ago and I was reading this book here a while back. God Has Spoken, A History of Christian Theology by Gerald Bray. This is 1,256 pages. I was reading this, I got kind of bogged down. I think I read 351 pages of this one. I should read some more of it. And then I found the collected poems of Allen Ginsberg, 1947 to 1997. This is 1,183 pages. I have read this. I did read this a couple of years ago. I went through it and read his poetry, and Allen Ginsberg was in the Beat generation along with William Burroughs, Jack Kerouac, Allen Ginsberg. Everybody knows about Allen Ginsberg. His famous poem of How, I think, is in here. That's what he's most famous for. His early poem that's in here. Let me see. So anyway, Hal's in here. All his poems. Let's see, Hal, before and after San Francisco Bay Area, 1955 to 56. So that's Allen Ginsberg. That's over 1,000 pages. And then I thought this book here, The Transformation of the World, A Global History of the 19th Century, by Jurgen Osterhammel. This is a history of the 19th century. This is 1,166 pages. So this is a history of the 19th century. And then I thought of the Unabridged Edgar Allan Poe. This is his works. This is 1,172 pages of the Unabridged Edgar Allan Poe. You have his short stories in here and his poetry, and this is the Unabridged Edgar Allan Poe. And then I thought another book, Christianity, the First 3,000 Years, by Diarmaid, McCulloch. I read this for a while too. I think I read 329 pages. It's 1,155 pages. And then you have I thought biographies. I have a lot of biographies, but this is a biography out of Hitler by John Toland. This is 1,032 pages. Adolf Hitler. I have a big Hitler collection. Like I have just grabbed two here, The Last Days of Hitler and Hitler, A Study in Tyranny. I've mentioned I collect books on World War II, the Nazis, Germany, Hitler. I was thinking of a novel. This is a novel by Vikram Vikram Seth, A Suitable Boy. This is a big novel. I haven't read it. I bought it sometime in some... This is 1,349 pages. So those are some of the big books that I found that, as far as big books, I like big books, but I always don't get finished reading them. As far as today, I just been reading, like I mentioned in my last video, been reading George Mills by Stanley Erkin. You know, I mentioned these. I have 2 books by Stanley Erkin. This is his book, novel, Mrs. Ted Bliss, which he won the National Book Circles Award. And I have his, these are like stories by Stanley Erkin. They're called Stanley Erkin's Greatest Hits. I want to get next Stanley Erkin's novel, the Dick Gibson Show. So I want to get that. I tend to buy a lot of novels and never get around to reading them. Like I want to read Henry Green's novel, Concluding. Oh, here's a book I came across. I'm always looking for books. I can't find them in my lower level, but I came across a book that I've been looking for in my library, and I finally found it. This is Aleister Crowley, Diary of a Drug Fiend. I collect books on drugs like marijuana, LSD, cocaine, opium. But this is Aleister Crowley. Diary of a Drug Fiend was Aleister Crowley's first published novel. To the reader of 1922, it is presented a shocking look at a little-known phenomena. Today, while we are more familiar with drugs because of their widespread use in our culture, Diary of a Drug Fiend remains one of the most intense, detailed, and accurate accounts of drug addiction and the drug experience. The book was written by Crowley after years of deep personal study and experimentation with drugs. It is the study of a young man and woman who fall madly in love and whirl through Europe in a frenzied haze of heroin, cocaine adventure. Their ecstasy is brought to an abrupt end when their drug supply is cut off and despair replaces joy. Through the guidance of King Lamus, Master Ep, they free themselves from the entanglements of addiction by the application of practical magic. The narrative carries the reader aloft to the brilliancy of imagery created by this master of language. His prose development parallels the growth and increasing depth of his characters in uncanny fashion. This book is to be read and reread. It will also prove a useful document to doctors, lawyers, police, and addicts for its unique and precise presentation of the psychology of addiction and the possibility of its cure through development of the true will. So, yeah. So I found that. I got all kinds of books down here. But these are the big books, over 1,000 pages. A Suitable Boy by Vikram Seth. Was this a translation? Nope. I got that. And then I mentioned this biography on Adolf Hitler by John Toland, which is over 1,000 pages. And then the history, Christianity, First 3,000 Years by Darlin, McCulloch, which is over 1,000 pages. And then the Unabridged Edgar Allan Poe, which is over 1,000 pages. And then this History of the 19th Century, Transformation of the World, A Global History of the 19th Century by Jurgen Osterhammel. This is a translation, I think. Yeah, translated by Patrick Kellelamer. And then we have the collected poems of Allen Ginsberg, over 1,000 pages, 1947 to 1997. And then we have God Has Spoken, A History of Christian Theology by Gerald Bray. So those are the big books that I thought about today. I have tons of big books, but those are the ones that I think are very interesting. So today is a Thursday. It's the first day of September 2016. My wall clock says it's 8:10 at night, and I'm just kind of down here in the lower level messing with my books. And so until next time, bye.